Hey, welcome back to Octo English Academy, or if you're new here, welcome for the very first time, the coziest podcast for English learners on the entire internet. I'm Sophie, and I am genuinely so happy you're here today. Come in, sit down. There's no rush. This is a slow, warm, honest kind of episode today, and we're really glad you found us.
Yeah, this one feels a little different from the start, doesn't it? I think because the topic is different. It's not just about grammar or vocabulary today. It's about something bigger, something that a lot of our listeners are living through right now.
It really is. And I want to say up front, if you are an immigrant or if you came to America chasing something better, something different, something you couldn't find at home, this episode is for you. Specifically, we made this one for you.
We really did. So wherever you are, maybe you're on a long commute, maybe you're cooking dinner after a hard day at work, maybe you're lying in bed feeling a little homesick and not totally sure why. We're here with you. You're not alone in this room.
You're really not. Okay, before we start, let's do our little check-in. How are you doing today? And I want you to answer honestly. Not I'm fine, not okay. Actually check in. What's really going on?
I'll go first. Honestly, I've been thinking a lot lately about what it means to build a life somewhere that wasn't your original plan, about the things you gain when you move, and the things you quietly lose. It's been sitting with me all week.
I felt that. And I think a lot of our listeners feel that too. That mix of gratitude and grief, of excitement and exhaustion, of being proud of how far you've come and still missing where you came from.
That's it exactly.
That mix. We're going to sit in that mix today. And before we go further, here is today's comment challenge. Write this sentence in the comments. I'm your name from your country, and today I feel emotion because reason.
For example, I'm Anna from Mexico, and today I feel nostalgic because I heard a song from home. Or, I'm David from Nigeria, and today I feel proud because I just got my driver's license in the US. Write it, share it. We read every single one.
Every single one. Okay, let's get into it. Today's episode is called Living in America, a Real Immigrant Story. And I want to be clear about what this is. This is not a list of tips. It's not a grammar lesson with a story attached. It's a real conversation about what it actually feels like to leave your home country, arrive somewhere new, and try to build a life in a new language, in a new system, sometimes without anyone you know nearby.
And we're going to go through it in stages, because the immigrant experience isn't one thing. It changes. It evolves. There are different chapters. The arrival, the confusion, the small victories, the loneliness, the moments of joy, the moments where you think, wait, am I actually doing this? Is this actually my life now?
Yes, all of those chapters. And along the way, because this is still an English podcast, we're going to use real vocabulary that comes up in real immigrant life, words you need, phrases that matter. But the heart of today is the story, the human part.
This episode is B1 level, which means it's clear and natural, but not too complex. If you're a beginner, don't worry. We explain things as we go. If you're more advanced, we hope the conversation itself is what keeps you here. And if you need to pause and replay anything, please do. That's not giving up. That's studying smart. Okay, let's begin at the very beginning. Let's start before America. Let's start at home. Because every immigrant story begins with a decision. And that decision is almost never simple. Never. People leave for all kinds of reasons. Some people leave because of danger, conflict, violence, persecution. Some leave because of poverty or lack of opportunity. Some leave to study, or to follow a partner, or because a job opened up. Some leave because they had a dream since childhood of living somewhere else. And some, I think a surprising number, leave because they just didn't fit. They loved their home country, but they didn't feel like themselves there.
That last one is real, and it doesn't get talked about enough. Sometimes the reason isn't dramatic. It's just, I needed more space, or I needed a different kind of life. And that's valid. All of the reasons are valid.
Persecution. Let's pause on that word. Persecution means when a person or group is treated badly,
unfairly or cruelly, usually because of their religion, race, nationality, political opinions, or who they love. He fled his country to escape religious persecution. It's a serious word, an important word, and regardless of why someone left, the decision to leave is a huge act of courage, whether it was forced or chosen, whether it was sudden or planned for years. Getting on that plane, or crossing that border, or loading everything into a suitcase and saying goodbye to your life as you knew it, that takes something most people never have to find inside themselves. Something most people never have to find. I want listeners to sit with that for a second. If you did that, if you made that decision, you found something inside yourself that is genuinely extraordinary, even if it doesn't feel that way on an ordinary Tuesday. Especially on an ordinary Tuesday. Especially then.
Okay, so you made it. You're here. You're in America. What does that moment actually feel like?
It's overwhelming, and I think people are surprised by that because they expect it to feel happy, and they do feel happy, but it's mixed with so many other things: excitement, fear, disorientation, a strange kind of numbness, like your brain can't fully process that this is real.
Disorientation. That's a really useful word. Disorientation is the feeling of being confused about where you are, what's happening, or what to do next. It's like when you wake up from a deep sleep in an unfamiliar place, and for a second you don't know where you are. But imagine that feeling lasting for weeks.
Sometimes months.
Sometimes months. And everything is different. The grocery store is different. The food labels are different. The money is different. You have to relearn what things cost. The roads are different. The social rules are different. The humor is different. Even the silence between people is different.
Even the silence, yes. I think that's one of the hardest things. In every culture, silence means something different. In some cultures, silence between people is comfortable and normal. In American culture, especially in work settings, silence can feel awkward. People tend to fill it with small talk, with jokes, with questions, and if you're not used to that, it can feel exhausting.
And exhausting is actually the right word for those early months. Because everything, every tiny task, takes more energy than it did at home. Going to the pharmacy, calling to pay a bill, explaining something to a doctor. Things that were automatic at home now require concentration, translation, and courage.
And then you come home and you're just empty. Not in a sad way necessarily, just drained, like your brain ran a marathon.
Culture fatigue, that's the phrase some people use. The fatigue, the exhaustion, that comes from constantly adapting to a new culture. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been working incredibly hard every single day in ways that nobody sees.
Nobody sees. That's the thing about immigrant life that is so invisible to people who were born here. They don't see the work happening. They see the person at the grocery store and they just see someone buying groceries. They don't see that the person is quietly translating every word, hoping they don't mispronounce something, praying the cashier doesn't talk too fast.
And if they do talk too fast, what do you say? This is actually a really practical moment for our listeners. What's the phrase?
I'm sorry, could you say that a little more slowly? English is my second language. Or simply, could you repeat that, please? Both are completely acceptable. Both are kind and clear. And the truth is, most people respond with kindness. Not all, but most.
And if someone is unkind about it, that says something about them, not about you.
Exactly. Not about you, ever.
Let's talk about something that doesn't get said enough. Loneliness.
Yes, let's go there.
Because I think loneliness is one of the defining experiences of immigrant life, especially in the beginning. And it's a specific kind of loneliness. It's not just being alone physically. It's being surrounded by people and still feeling unseen, or feeling like nobody really knows who you are, because the version of you that exists in English is still incomplete.
Oh, that's so beautifully said. The version of you that exists in English. Because in your first language, you're funny, you're articulate, you're subtle. You can make a joke with perfect timing. You can express a complicated feeling in exactly the right words. And in English, especially in the beginning, you feel smaller, like a reduced version of yourself.
Articulate. Let's define that. To be articulate means to express yourself clearly and effectively in words. She is very articulate. She always finds the right words. When you feel less articulate in your second language, it's not because you're less intelligent. It's because you're still building your vocabulary. That's all.
That's all. And over time it grows. It really does. But in the meantime, the loneliness is real, and I think it's important to name it. Not to fix it with a quick tip, but just to name it. You are not strange for feeling lonely. You are not weak, you are human.
And homesickness, that specific ache for the familiar, for your mother's cooking, for the sound of your language on the street, for your friends who've known you since you were young, for the small things, the smell of the air in your hometown, the particular way the light looks in the afternoon there, the shop on the corner that you never thought you'd miss.
The shop on the corner. I know exactly what you mean. It's never the big things. It's always the most random, specific little things that hit you.
Homesickness. It's the feeling of missing home deeply. She felt a wave of homesickness when she heard that song. It's not a weakness. It's proof that you loved where you came from.
And you can love where you came from and still choose to be somewhere else. Both things can be true at the same time. That's one of the complicated, beautiful things about immigrant life. You hold two worlds at once.
Okay, I want to shift the energy a little now, because as real as the hard parts are, there is another side. The moments that make you feel like, yes, I'm doing this. I'm actually doing this.
Oh, I love this chapter.
The small victories. Can we talk about those?
Please, yes.
What was yours? A real one. A moment where you felt genuinely proud.
Okay, mine was at a hardware store, of all places. I needed something to fix a shelf, and I didn't know the word for the little metal piece I needed. In my language, I knew exactly what it was, but in English, blink. So I walked up to someone who worked there and I said, and I remember this so clearly, "Excuse me, I'm looking for a small piece of metal that goes into the wall and holds a shelf up. It has a thread on it, like a screw, but it stays in the wall." And he said, "Oh, a wall anchor." And I said, "Yes, that! Where are those?" And I found it. And I walked out of that store feeling like I had won something enormous.
I love that story so much because it's so specific. And it was enormous because you did something hard. You didn't give up. You didn't walk out. You described what you needed until you were understood. That is a skill.
And the technical word for that, describing something you don't know the name of, is called circumlocution. It's a language learning strategy. You go around the word. It's a thing that it's used for. It looks like. It's one of the most useful tools you can have as a learner.
Circumlocution. Going around the word. Remember that. It is your friend.
What was your small victory moment?
Mine was a phone call. I know that sounds simple, but phone calls in a second language are genuinely hard. You can't see the person's face. You can't use gestures. You can't ask them to write it down. It's just voices. And early on, I used to feel a little sick before making phone calls in English.
Oh, so many people feel that. Phone anxiety in a second language is so real.
So real. And then one day, I had to call to dispute a charge on a bill. Something was wrong, and I needed to explain it and ask them to fix it. And I did it. I called, I explained the situation clearly. The person on the other end understood me. They fixed it. And I sat down afterward and I just felt this wave of, I can do things here. I am capable here, even in this language that's not mine.
Dispute. That's a good vocabulary moment. To dispute something means to challenge it or say it's wrong. I need to dispute this charge on my bill. It's a formal but very useful word for real-life situations. Banks, landlords, insurance companies, you may need this word.
And the feeling after that phone call, that's not nothing. That's real confidence, earned confidence, the kind that comes from actually doing the hard thing.
Earned confidence, not pretend confidence, not telling yourself you're brave, actually being brave, and then feeling the result of it.
Let's talk about something practical now, because one of the hardest parts of immigrant life, and nobody warns you about this enough, is the system, the American system of paperwork and bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy, that word. Bureaucracy is the system of official rules, forms, and processes that governments and organizations use. It can feel endlessly complicated. I've been dealing with so much bureaucracy just to renew my ID. It's a universal frustration. Americans feel it too, to be fair.
They do. But for immigrants, it's harder, because the stakes are higher, because the forms are in English, because the rules change, because one wrong box ticked can create a huge problem, and because you often don't have family or friends nearby who've been through it before and can guide you.
The social security number, the tax ID, health insurance, the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, where you get your driver's license, opening a bank account, building credit.
renewing a visa, or applying for a green card. Every one of these things has its own process, its own vocabulary, its own waiting room.
Let's go through a few key terms quickly.
Social Security Number, or SSN. This is a 9-digit number given to people who work in the U.S. You need it for almost everything: getting a job, filing taxes, opening a bank account. "Can I have your Social Security number?" is something you will hear a lot.
Credit score. This is a number that shows how trustworthy you are with money. If you pay your bills on time, your credit score goes up. A good credit score helps you rent an apartment, get a loan, or buy a car. When you first arrive in the U.S., you usually have no credit history, which can be frustrating because nobody trusts you yet. Not because you're bad with money, but because you're new.
No credit history is a real barrier. It's one of those invisible walls. You can't rent an apartment without credit. You can't build credit without having an apartment or a credit card. It's a circle, and it can feel very discouraging.
But there are ways through it. Secured credit cards, where you put money in first as a deposit, or credit builder loans, or finding a landlord who accepts other forms of proof, like a letter from an employer. It's not impossible. It just takes time and patience and knowing what to ask for.
Time and patience. Two things immigrants learn very quickly that they need a lot of.
Green card. A green card is an official document that allows a non-U.S. citizen to live and work permanently in the United States. It's called a green card, even though it's not always green. Getting one can take years, sometimes many years. The waiting is one of the most emotionally exhausting parts of the legal immigration process.
And visa. A visa is official permission, usually a stamp or sticker in your passport that allows you to enter and stay in a country for a specific purpose and amount of time. A student visa, a work visa, a tourist visa. Each has different rules. My visa expires in 3 months. That sentence creates a specific kind of anxiety that only immigrants know.
That kind of anxiety has a name, actually. It's sometimes called status anxiety, the fear of losing your legal right to stay. It hangs over everything, and it's important for people who are born here to understand that anxiety is real, it's constant, and it affects how people think, work, and move through the world.
I want to go somewhere deeper for a moment, because beyond the paperwork, beyond the language, there's something even harder about immigrant life, and it's the question of identity.
Who am I now?
Exactly. Because when you move to a new country, especially as an adult, you go through something that psychologists call identity negotiation. You're not the same person you were at home, but you're also not fully American or fully part of the new culture yet. You exist somewhere in between, and that in-between place can feel really unsettling.
Identity negotiation. The process of figuring out how your old identity and your new environment fit together. Some things from your culture you hold on to tightly. Some things you adapt. Some things surprise you. You realize you've already changed without even noticing.
And sometimes people around you, family back home or people in the new country, make it harder. Family back home might say, "You're changing, you're forgetting who you are." People in the new country might say, with good intentions but with a little pressure, "You should do it this way here." And you're standing in the middle going, "I'm still figuring out which way is mine."
That's so real. And I think for children of immigrants especially, or for people who moved as teenagers, this tension is even more intense because you're figuring out identity at the same time as figuring out a new culture. It's a lot of weight to carry.
What helped you personally when you felt lost between two identities?
For me, it was finding community. Other people who were also from somewhere else, not necessarily from the same country, just people who understood the experience of being an immigrant. People who laughed at the same confusions, who didn't need you to explain why you get emotional about certain foods, or why you call your parents every day, or why you sometimes feel like a stranger in a crowded room.
Community. It's such a powerful word. And for immigrants, finding your community can take time. But when you find it, even just 1 or 2 people, it changes everything.
And I want to say, your culture is not something you need to leave behind to succeed here. Your accent is not something that needs to be erased. Your traditions, your food, your way of seeing the world, those are assets. They are things that make you more, not less.
Assets. Things that are valuable. Her bilingualism is an asset in the workplace. Your 2 cultures, your 2 languages, your 2 ways of understanding the world, those are genuinely valuable, even if some people don't see it that way. The people who matter will.
We talked earlier about the American dream. Let's come back to it, because I think it deserves an honest conversation.
It does, and I want to be fair about this, because America is genuinely a place where extraordinary things are possible. People come here with nothing and build real lives, real businesses, real families, real safety. That's true, and it's not a myth.
And at the same time, it's also true that the path is harder for some people than others, that race, language, class, documentation status, and so many other things affect how open those doors really are, and pretending otherwise doesn't help anyone.
The honest picture of America, I think, is this. It is a place of real opportunity, and it is also a place with real inequality. It is a place that was built by immigrants, and it is also a place that sometimes treats immigrants as if they don't belong. It is a place where you can build something extraordinary, and where the building can be exhausting and unfair.
Both things at the same time.
And I think for immigrants, holding both of those truths at once is part of the experience. You're grateful and you're frustrated. You're proud and you're exhausted. You chose this, and some days it's really, really hard.
And choosing this on those hard days, that's the decision made again, every single day. I'm still here. I'm still trying. I still believe this is worth it. That is not a small thing.
Inequality. The unfair difference in how people are treated or what they have access to. There is significant income inequality in the United States. It's a word that comes up in serious conversations about society, and it's important to know.
I want to end this main section with hope, because I think that's what this whole story is really about. Not the paperwork, not the loneliness, not even the victories. It's hope. The thing that made someone decide to leave. The thing that keeps them going on hard days. The thing that says, something better is possible.
Hope is one of the most powerful and most underrated human experiences, and immigrants carry a very specific kind of it. Not a naive hope, not everything will be perfect, but a resilient hope, the kind that has been tested, that knows things are hard and chooses to keep going anyway.
Resilient, able to recover from difficulties, tough in a quiet way. She's incredibly resilient. She's been through so much and she keeps moving forward. Resilience is not the absence of pain, it's the ability to keep going despite the pain. And every immigrant I have ever met has it.
Every single one. And I want our listeners to hear this clearly. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to miss home. You are allowed to cry in the car sometimes. And you are also, at the exact same time, someone who is doing something brave and hard and meaningful. Those things coexist.
They coexist. They always coexist.
Okay, we're in the gentle part now. The word tour. Slow, warm, no rush.
Let's just walk through the words from today. Easy. One at a time. Word 1. Persecution. Being treated badly or unfairly, usually because of religion, race, or identity. Example. Many people come to the U.S. to escape persecution in their home country. Word 2. Disorientation. The feeling of being confused about where you are or what's happening. Like the world shifted and you haven't caught up yet. Example. The first weeks in a new country can bring a real sense of disorientation. Word 3. Articulate. Able to express yourself clearly and well in words. Example. In my first language I am articulate. In English I'm still growing. Word 4. Circumlocution. Describing something by going around the word you don't know. A learner's superpower. Example. I used circumlocution to explain what I needed at the store. The thing that holds the shelf to the wall. Word 5. Bureaucracy. The system of official rules, forms, and processes. Often complex and slow. Example. Getting my driver's license involved a lot of bureaucracy. Word 6. Credit score. A number that shows how reliable you are with money. Important in the U.S. for renting, loans, and more. Example. Building a good credit score takes time when you first arrive. Word 7. Resilient. Able to recover from hard things. Strong in a quiet, deep way. Example. Immigrants are some of the most resilient people I know. Word 8. Coexist. To exist at the same time in the same place, even when things seem opposite. Example. Gratitude and homesickness can coexist,
Both are real.
8 words today, a little more than usual because this topic had a lot of heart in it.
Pick one. Just one. Write a sentence with it. Say it out loud. Use it today. That's all we ask.
And if you want a real challenge, use 2 of them in the same sentence. No pressure, but it's fun.
That was our episode. Living in America. A real immigrant story.
And we want to say, if this episode moved you or helped you feel a little less alone or gave you a word for something you've been feeling, that matters to us so much. That is exactly why we do this. You are seen here. You are not a background character in someone else's story. You are the main character of your own. And your story, the one you're living right now, even on the hard days, is worth telling. You are part of this cozy club. No application, no paperwork, no credit score required. No pressure, but it's fun. That was our episode. Living in America. A real immigrant story. That was our episode. Living in America. A real immigrant story. And we want to say, if this episode moved you or helped you feel a little less alone or gave you a word for something you've been feeling, that matters to us so much. That is exactly why we do this. You are seen here. You are not a background character in someone else's story. You are the main character of your own. And your story, the one you're living right now, even on the hard days, is worth telling. You are part of this cozy club. No application, no paperwork, no credit score required. No pressure, but it's fun. You just show up, and we will always be here. One small step at a time. That's still the motto. Maybe today your step was listening to this. Maybe it was learning one new word. Maybe it was just choosing to keep going. Every step counts. Every single one. Leave us your comment. I'm blank from blank, and today I feel blank because blank. We want to hear from you. We really genuinely do. Like this episode if it helped. Subscribe so we can keep making these. Share it with one person who might need to feel a little less alone today. Just one. That's enough. And if you are going through something hard right now, if today is one of the difficult days, we just want to say, you are not invisible. You are not forgotten. And the fact that you're still here, still learning, still trying, that is extraordinary. It really is. Okay, until next time.